I admit, I don't really know what this video's about. I didn't have a clear vision or message in mind when I sat down to write it. Lately, I've been on this reading journey, exploring the nuances of science fiction and its convergence with fantasy and horror. Call it weird fiction, call it science fantasy, call it cosmic horror. It doesn't really matter what subgenre this stuff falls into. It's proving to be more fascinating than I ever bargained for. I keep finding books that explore the dark chasm of the mind and the terrifying scale of the universe. It's like the fictional Venn diagram between, how about this? The fictional Venn diagram where human skin is the border between the personal cerebral experience and the infinite mega cosmic nightmare. Too wanky? Unearthing the exploration of the limits of consciousness, what it means to be human, and how that path can lead to madness. This isn't a comprehensive history of metaphysical fiction. I barely know what I'm talking about. This is a sit rep from behind enemy lines. So maybe this video is actually about stories that play around with the perception of reality, manifesting as a cosmic and cognitive void. Or maybe not. Can we just get the Lovecraft connection out of the way first? Because it's a bit obvious, but love him or hate him, he is the pivot point for this kind of thing. He borrowed heavily from the past, taking the traditional Gothic style and folklore and applied more scale, revealing the universe to be something extremely old and apathetic. More importantly, he put the human experience at the center of the story. And I think that's the point of this video. Subjective reality, the eye of the beholder transferred onto the reader. Is it too late to change the title? Lovecraft used ancient aliens capable of destroying the human race, tentacled monsters, aesthetically grotesque. A much deeper fear comes from the revelation of human insignificance. He called it the discovery of appalling truth. But as much as I love this interconnected universe of eldritch horror, I was looking for a more mysterious portrayal of the metaphysical. We're getting dangerously close to thesaurus gymnastics here. Metaphysical means the study of reality, existence, arguably philosophy. But I want the fictional narrative to go further and challenge even that. I told you I didn't know what this video was about. Never fear, I think I've found the perfect example. Written in 1908 by William Hope Hodgson, The House on the Borderland. In essence, this is a story about a haunted house, a physical building situated at the gateway to hell, probably. Great stuff, but that sounds like a typical late 19th century supernatural affair. However, Hodgson does something special with the framing device and the perspective, warping the once upon a time structure. Two fishermen on a get away from it all camping trip in remote Western Ireland come across a mysterious, mist-enveloped pit, the ruins of a large house perched on the edge of the abyss. They find an old journal in the rubble. It's the account of a man who lived in the house years ago with his sister and his dog. The fishermen stay up all night reading about these horrible pig-like creatures that emerge from the pit and terrorize the house. It's a supernatural siege. To thicken the plot, we get second-hand information through the journal about the house, which was centuries old and had a reputation as a place of evil. So brilliantly, as the reader, we are the next witness in this chain of events, and the hand of the author himself just melts away. The revelations from the journal could be as mind-blowing as documented evidence of another realm of existence or some sort of god, or it could be local superstition and bullshit, the ramblings of a madman. What I'm getting at is, because the story delivery mechanism is unreliable and layered, your mind is always reaching for the truth. It's like a puzzle. What's really going on here? However, it wasn't the masterful and unusual treatment of the supernatural trope within the house on the borderland that inspired this video. It was something I've referred to in the past as the tripping balls effect. Right in the middle of this old man's journal, seemingly inexplicably, he experiences some sort of cosmic journey, like a foreshadowing of the pigmen and the dark significance of the house. And again later, after he refuses to leave this cursed place, he witnesses the solar system, or the galaxy, or is it the universe? I'm not so sure, speeding up and evolving before his eyes, like an out-of-body experience. Tripping balls. So this is obviously playing with the perception of reality. But why is this a horrific thing? Why does it read like a negative force? My reading is that William Hope Hodgson is presenting the vast scale of time and space directly to an individual, to a single person, to accentuate the insignificance of the human mind. I felt a combination of claustrophobia, because we're all trapped in these fleshy bodies that last about 90 years, and agoraphobia, because it's all just too big to comprehend, and a terrifying sense of loneliness. As time marches on, everything the man holds dear turns to dust and is lost to decay. Even the planets and the stars change over time. Every possible safety net is taken away. It's an existential nightmare. Speaking of fast forwarding through time, this reminded me of another book that pulls a similar trick, Star Maker by Olaf Stapledon. By 1937, Stapledon had already gained a reputation as a formidable philosophical science fiction author with his novels Last and First Men and Odd John. The themes of transhumanism and extreme future history had obviously been tackled before, but never with such ambition and vigour. Star Maker is ostensibly about a man that gains the ability to fly around the universe and experience the ever-increasing complexity and scale of, well, reality, I suppose. It's not like a Superman thing or a wish that was granted. It's inexplicable on purpose, because Olaf Stapledon is not interested in the how or the why. He just needs a narrator to experience the thing, the situation, the philosophy, the what. The what? As the narrator encounters a life form, he kind of absorbs them, and then this new entity has a leveled up consciousness and a new ability to absorb more and more complex life forms, and the whole thing snowballs and repeats. So we've left behind the horror and the path to madness for now. This is more of an exploration of the boundaries of human consciousness. I suppose that is a scary proposition, that we are bridled by our cognitive power and there'll always be a limit to our understanding. So it's horrifically frustrating. The book eventually arrives at a spiritual, philosophical, pseudo-religious place. When you have accumulated all the knowledge and the aspects of the universe, where else is there to go but the Creator, the Star Maker? This wasn't supposed to be a Philip K. Dick video, but I would be remiss, it would be rude to leave him out of this conversation. If we're talking about subjective reality, Dick not only wrote stories about that, he also believed he was living in a kind of personal projected universe. We all exist in our own holographic bubble. If there was ever a labyrinth of rabbit holes to dive into and totally derail this video, now would be the time, and Philip K. Dick would be our tour guide. His books always focus on more than one thing, but the message, the themes, are often tied to technology, war, politics, philosophy, nostalgia, religion, but they all start in a place where reality is subjective. And he uses the whole canvas to express this. Time Out of Joint is literally a constructed reality for one man, just like The Truman Show. So it flips paranoia on its head because it turns out you are being watched and manipulated. So it's not so much about the brain doing something special or the very fabric of reality shifting because of some supernatural influence. It's about a person believing that the real world is actually fake or the fake world is actually real, sort of. A Scanner Darkly does the opposite. The brain is affected by a mind-altering drug. So it's still a manipulated world, but it's mental instead of physical. Flow My Tears, the policeman said, goes a step further. Beyond the mental, beyond the physical, reality itself is reconfigured and replaced with a parallel universe. Oh boy, another existential nightmare. And across Dick's bibliography, you'll find varying degrees and combinations of crazy drugs, dreams within dreams, alien manipulation, simulations, and the big one, mental illness. I put extra emphasis on the state of one's mind, especially Dick's, because it can have a profound effect on the reading experience. Specifically with what we're talking about here, the eye of the beholder. Call it autobiographical, call it meta, stream of consciousness wrapped around a fictional story. Philip K. Dick was the master of this kind of storytelling. Valis, his postmodern, pseudo-allegorical, method-writing, metafictional cry for help, is the perfect snapshot of his career. But we'll leave that for another video. So where does that leave us? I've clarified nothing. Every book that I've talked about leads down a path more surreal and confusing than where we started from. This isn't a subgenre. It's not restricted by period or style. It's just a base camp of an idea that we can all launch from. Bring me more. Show me what's over that perception horizon.